All right, we're rolling here, brother. All right, I got my co-host, Robert Benenati, in the house.
Yes, sir. Good to be back.
So Robert actually caught COVID along with his wife. So what's interesting is I've been getting hit up from people asking me, honestly, where's Robert been? Because we've done numerous amounts of podcasts. And I'm going to tell you something. My mother actually, from what the sounds of it, likes listening to Robert better than myself. So anyways, I wanted to do a podcast on what he went through regarding COVID because I think both of us have had other friends, family members that have gotten it. But we're in Florida. And what's interesting is probably besides my girlfriend and my kids, and I guess you could say stepkids, I was with Robert probably the most. I probably spent more time with you than anyone else, either at your office or even meeting you at the gym.
Yeah.
I mean, I have other buddies.
We were
but
very cautious with the whole thing since it all started, right? It got to the point where we were just us two here in the office creating content and podcasts and not mingling with other people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I did get it. When was it? November 16th, I think.
Yeah,
So
it was before Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah, a little over a month now. And the funny thing is that week, I felt sick already on Saturday night, maybe Sunday morning for sure. But that entire week, I was just in the office doing a lot of paperwork.
Right.
End of year was coming, so I was kind of cleaning up and whatnot. So it's very confusing where I was exposed to it. And the only thing that comes to mind was that week, I believe it was Monday, Tuesday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, just 2 days out of the week, I went to the gym.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that comes back to me, right? But the funny thing is you've been going to the gym longer than I have since they opened, right?
Yeah.
It took me about 2 to 3 months after they opened to get back to the gym.
Right.
I only went 2 days. You go 6 days a week, right?
Does that get ridiculous? 4 to 5?
Yeah, you go 6 days a week, man.
Whatever.
So, right, and you've been going since they opened, and you haven't, thank God, you haven't fallen sick on, and been contagious with COVID, but it was a little bit mind-boggling for me. I'm not exposed to anyone. I take care of myself. I use masks everywhere. It was just, yeah.
Yeah, I was with you a lot, but I also was obviously with my buddies. I go out a lot more probably than you. Obviously, dinner, lunches. I'm always on the go. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I wear a mask. But you and your wife were really safe. Like two of the safest people I knew, as far as that I remember. Even your wife very seldom even left the house.
Yeah, she hardly did. And, most of the shopping at one point I was doing it just to have, I said, if someone's going to get exposed, right, make it one, not both of us.
Right.
So that was the idea behind that. And we, thank God, never got sick, doing grocery shopping or just going out getting things. And then this happened, like, out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Crazy.
What's my buddy Joey, who's nuts, downtown Orlando, he's always being tested. They have free testing, so I'm with him too. So every time he gets tested and he was coming out negative, I was saying he was kind of doing the testing for both of us. But even Rhea, my girlfriend, she lives at Disney, all 4 parks, right, for the most part. She works now. She's helping out at one of the outlets. So we're around a ton of people, and then when we found out you and your wife got it, I'm like, well, how did they get it, not us? Yeah. Just saying, who knows how to work out.
It's crazy. It's crazy, and that same week, we felt sick. We had maybe another 3 to 4 people that we know that also got sick. And the funny thing, it was right here in the vicinity, like in Dr. Phillips.
Right.
So we were like, okay, so I guess this new wave came through Dr. Phillips, right? Maybe that. But yeah.
My mother caught it. It rocked her boat. She's 70 years old, though. And my buddy Greg, who works at the Florida hospital, which, he's a nurse, he's an RN, so he caught it. But as far as a lot of my family members in Chicago, but I have a massive family. But as far as Orlando goes, I don't know a lot of people, at least my close friends, or a lot of groups that I know have really caught it. And it was kind of interesting when you kind of caught it, because I was like, wow, that's It was kind of out of left field, I think, a little bit, like anything else.
They were reporting on the news all these numbers of people getting sick, but I personally did not know anyone.
Right.
Like you. Like, I didn't personally know anyone getting sick, and then all of a sudden, like, that same week I get it, my wife gets it, a friend gets it, and then 3 other people. And I was like, oh, okay.
In our household, we've been very fortunate because both of my stepkids, they work in retail, so they've been around a lot of people.
So how was it for your mom?
My mom got rocked for 2 weeks. She was just kind of, she didn't leave the house for 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. She just did not feel good, entirely drained. She still hasn't got all her strength back, according to her.
Well, it's not funny. I could see COVID. It's a serious thing, and I could see COVID getting, escalating
mm-hmm.
to worse very fast.
Yeah.
Because within everything, I got it very light. It was just, for me, It was a lot of body ache.
Soreness?
Yeah.
Basically, almost like a soreness after working out type of soreness, or just like that sick, achy.
A truck ran over me and made a U-turn and came right back.
Mm-hmm.
That painful. It was just consistent pain. It didn't go away. I never rested of the pain. It was just pain, for 4 days. Maybe on the 5th day I was feeling a little better, but I still had that, like a cold, when your joints just hurt and you're just sore.
Yeah.
And I think it took a toll on my body to the point where I was drained. I was physically drained. My skin would hurt. I would rub.
Really?
I would rub my hand down my chest to my stomach, and it felt like a combination between a sunburn and a soreness.
Yeah.
Like if I was bruised.
Yes.
Oh my God, it was just painful.
Taste and smell?
I ended up losing I did not get fever. I didn't have fever. I didn't have cough. I didn't have anything besides the body ache. And I lost my senses, my sense of smell and taste.
Wow.
But I lost it like 4 days into it.
Wow.
Like I was smelling and tasting everything, and then all of a sudden, gone.
You have 2 kids, though, too, right, that live with you?
3 girls. Yeah,
3 girls. I'm sorry. Did anyone catch it?
No.
None of them.
So what happened was when I felt bad, sick, it was Sunday, and I wanted to get tested because I knew this was just different. It felt different. And the 2 places we went needed to make an appointment, so I made an appointment on one, and it was set for Monday the next day. So that night, I want to say that night, I told my wife, don't stay with me in the room, right? That we just in case, because most likely I have it. And she slept in one of the other rooms. I get tested on Monday. I turn positive, and it just starts getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
Then she falls sick. I want to say Tuesday evening or Wednesday morning. She's like, I don't feel well. And that Wednesday evening, she had 103 fever.
Right. She's little.
And she's petite. Yeah. It just destroyed her. And then she called a doctor friend we have in New York that's been dealing with COVID. And at that point we were like, my husband has it, I have it. Can we just stay together and quarantine together? And she says, yeah, you both have it. Doesn't matter at this point. So then she came back to the room and we isolated there for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Because
we had the rest of the other 3 girls, and we, now we're sick. How can we take care of them, right?
Yes.
So thank God they didn't get it. They got tested every 2 to 3 days just to make sure they were wearing masks in the house.
Right.
And they were kind of trying to stay in their rooms individually, and then sanitizing everything. And the way that we got fed was my daughters would bring a tray.
Yeah, prison style.
Yeah, prison style. It was out one door through the patio to our sliding doors, and just leave it there on a table that we set up. Right. And I would open, they would go inside. I would open the sliding door, take it from there, take it in. We would eat, and then we would sanitize, spray it, put it back out, and then we'll come and take it, and then they would sanitize it and clean out the dishes and whatnot. But my wife had, going back to my wife, she had the pain. She had fever for, I think it was 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then super congested.
Wow.
I'm talking about she hardly could breathe, but it wasn't from the lungs. It was just, she was just so congested. It was like a super sinus infection.
Yeah.
I mean, she went through 7 rolls of paper toilet just blowing her nose out.
Yeah. Affects everyone differently.
And that was basically, for her, something very annoying was having that because it was ears, throat, nose, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then it lasted about, I want to say, 4 to 5 days, and then it was another 4 or 5 days of just quarantine, and just the other 4 or 5 days after feeling sick, that we were feeling somewhat better, we were just exhausted. We would get up and just do a couple things, like fix the bed or just walk around, because we were just tired of being in bed, but we didn't leave the room.
Yeah.
I mean, it would 10, 15 minutes of exercise, doing something, and we were exhausted.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, it felt like I went to the gym and did, leg workouts or something. I just had to go take a nap. I remember one day, a week later, on a Saturday, I slept. I took 3 naps throughout the day.
This sounds like me regularly.
That's what I thought. That's why I think you did have COVID.
I slept right through it. I never knew I had it.
So I slept like 3 times. I got up, and then at 11 I fell asleep. At 3 I fell asleep. At 5 I fell asleep, and then at night again. I was so exhausted, and it took me probably another week after that just to be 100%.
Yeah. My mother caught it, I guess, from family members. But what's interesting is, so the stepkids, again, who usually get sick pretty often, never got sick through this. My father had a kidney removed in a hospital, very fortunate, and he goes everywhere, car shows even after this, the malls, eats, nothing. One of my daughters actually had 1 surgery and 1 biopsy, in and out of the hospital a lot. Nothing, thank God. And my youngest daughter, too, one has type 1 diabetes, and we've been very fortunate with them because they go in and out of hospitals. They have to have checkups. They're always being regulated. Those were the 2 I was really afraid of, and my father, because he's going through a removal of a kidney, and he's like typical Floridian kind of guy, walking around at cars, no mask, doesn't give a, he's hilarious, but I guess we never know.
I had a friend, he's a sheriff. He had only headache and dizziness and tested positive, and that was it.
Really? Yeah.
And quarantined for 2 weeks, and he was fine. I had another friend, he felt the same thing. He had a little bit of, body ache, no fever, a little bit of congestion, and that was it. We have a friend that she just got it, and she went through the same thing, like body ache. She says, I can't take it no more. It's just so painful.
Wow.
She had, I think, a little bit of fever. So everybody gets it kind of different.
Yeah. Isn't there like all these different strands? Is that what they call it? Like 30 of them? Like there's all these
mutated to different forms.
Yeah, that's what my buddy Greg said.
So everyone's getting it differently,
It's crazy.
And I got people. I heard of a story a friend of mine told me when she heard I was sick. She says, "Yeah, you know what? A couple. We have a friend that they're a couple, and they're very healthy. They work out. Like the guy's fit.
Yeah.
She's fit, but not as much as he is.
Yeah.
And he was worse than he got it worse than she did than the wife. And he said the same thing. It was like, headache, fever, body ache. It was like really bad. So again, some people get it very lightly, and other people get it, serious. And who was it? I think my wife told me a friend of her husband got it, and he was hospitalized. He couldn't breathe. Like he got to the point he needed to go to the hospital. That's
crazy.
So it's again, you don't know where you get it from.
Yeah.
And B, which is the scariest part, is you don't know how you're going to get it. How bad you're going to get it.
Yeah. Unbelievable. All right, we're going to wrap it up there. If you want to check out Robert's podcast, Real Business, it's on YouTube. Where else? Where else you got it?
Everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, realbusinesspodcast.com. You can go directly there.
Yeah, check him out there. He's on a bunch of my podcasts. Obviously, we've done even. He was my first Zoom podcast.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Remember that? That was a long time ago. That was like right when COVID broke out. We did a fitness one. Anyways, I'm all over the place. richcelenzapodcast if you want to check me out if you haven't before. And I'm going to start doing some more podcasts with Robert after the new year, hopefully. And
I forgot before we leave about COVID, we had some friends, my mom including, she did chicken soup for us and had it delivered at the door, and we picked it up. I think that was one of the best things that ever happened to us, was having chicken soup for like 4 or 5 days. It really helped us. So if, you're listening to this,
chicken soup for the soul.
Like the book from
exactly.
What's his name? Jack Canfield. Yeah,
exactly.
Chicken soup for the soul.
All right, that's all I got for you guys. Take care, and I wish you nothing but the best.